Right now, we like to get started. For those of us who are here on time, we like to get started on time. And let me tell you guys something. I am about to bring somebody to the line who I have a ton of respect for. When I tell you something about this gentleman has a heart of gold. He is a big brother in business and in life. He knows a lot about making money. And when I tell you he knows a lot about making money, you better listen. Get you a pen and a paper so you can listen to what this man has. But not only that, he loves helping people. So that's somebody that I definitely knew that I had to align myself with. So would y'all do me a huge favor and come off mute, show your face on the camera if you can, and give it up for one of my mentors, Mr. Richard, the Hope.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited to see each and every one of your smiling faces. Thank you for that warm welcome. Thank you for that introduction. And thank all of you for sharing Wealth Building Wednesday with me. I make sure to say thank you up front as an expression of gratitude, because I'm thankful for each and every one of you for being here to listen, but I'm also thankful for the things that have been shared with me. But you know what I'm most thankful for? Man, y'all got to give it up for Tanisha Sanchez, because I want you to understand what modesty in action looks like. Like Tanisha, in this company, in this industry, she's one of the fastest people to reach that 2-star executive director level. I'll explain what that means. But from a business point of view, she's been able to increase her assets, increase her cash, increase her cash flow, help other people do all of those things. But she's so humble, she got on here and didn't even tell you her name. So I know the spelling is unusual, but the name is real. Remember, Tanisha Sanchez. Y'all give it up for Tanisha for getting us kicked off today.
Hello, congratulations.
Yes, Tanisha, thank you.
Excitement.
Sanchez.
Great job.
And here's my promise for you for this evening, Wealth Building Wednesday. I do want to have a conversation with you about money, and I want to have it from a position of strength and transparency, meaning that if you rewind the clock to 2.5 years ago, Tracy, there was nobody jumping on Zoom to hear anything that I had to say about finance or wealth creation because I was pissed off. Anybody ever just find somebody in a point in their life where they're angry with the results that they're living?
Yes.
And my anger wasn't in the appropriate place. I was actually angry with myself because I had done all the things they said to do. They said you're supposed to go to school, get good grades, go to college so that you can get a degree, get a good job with benefits, and live happily ever after. How many of you were told that?
I was told that, but I didn't follow it.
If you rewind the clock, I did all those things, graduated top of my class, went off to Duke University, got 2 degrees. So I have electrical engineering and computer science degrees from Duke University that it put me into corporate America. I went very quickly from my starting salary to a 6-figure income and found myself seven figures in debt because they said the more you make, the more they take. But you know what's even worse, Cedric? I figured it was just the job that wasn't working. So I went and got another one. So here I am with 2 jobs, 2 degrees, 3 kids, 1 wife, 1 dog, and I'm looking at all of them angry at the results that I was feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But here's what I understood. Have you ever asked the right question, but the wrong person?
I think I have.
See, I was upset with the people that were giving me the formula for creating success because we had not agreed on definitions. They decided that success was getting the bills paid, but I wanted to be wealthy.
Right.
Who on this line is in that of that opinion where they want to actually create wealth in real terms in their lifetime? Because that's what I'm talking to today. If it's Wealth Building Wednesday, that's what we're talking about. And here's what I understood. The problem was the equation, meaning wealthy people all across America have one simple equation that they've mastered. I'm going to share it up front in this conversation, but just so I know who I'm talking to through this conversation, give me one of 2 numbers. If this is your first time hearing this conversation, drop a 3 in the chat so that I know what level of questions and where to expect questions to come from. And then number two, if you've seen this more than one time, put a 9 in the chat or 3 squared. That's all I need to know. I just want to make sure I understand who I'm talking to, so we shape this conversation to what you need to hear. But the wealth formula, wealth principle 101. Everybody ready? Make sure you got something to take notes with. If you're not taking notes, start taking notes right now. You ready?
Okay.
We ready.
Cash, asset, cash. I know you were looking for something way deeper than that, but if you think about anybody that's created wealth in the US economy, they took some cash, they bought, built, or grew an asset, and then that asset in turn produced more cash. And once they got to the place where the assets were producing more cash than it cost them to live, by definition, they were wealthy. Now that's a simple equation, isn't it? Does everybody agree that's simpler than going to college and getting 2 degrees and 2 jobs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Put this in your notes. Our education system isn't designed to produce wealth. It's designed to produce workers. And when you got workers, you got to keep them at work. And what the problem was for me was I was working so hard that I didn't even have any cash left because I was making way more money. But you know, they say the more you make, the more they take. I don't know if anybody can relate to seeing a tax bill that was equivalent to a good salary. But that's what we were looking at in 2019. I mean, for anybody, these 4 things are what rob the average American of their cash to keep them working. And that's taxes, debt, big business, and inflation. It's a family of 4. What do you mean a family? Well, taxes start the process off, meaning we call taxes the chainsaw massacre. You know why?
Why?
It cuts the head off every paycheck we ever got at work. Meaning, but before we went to work, but before we got done, the first 1/3 of our income went to somebody that had never showed up for the job. And they call that money after tax money. But guess what they do with after tax money?
Tax
after tax. That's what they do. Anything you can do with any of your after tax dollars gets taxed. You want to buy something here in DeKalb County, you need 7% of what you're going to purchase in taxes to the government. If you got a car on your birthday, you get an ad valorem tax. Happy birthday. You got property tax. We get taxed so much that the average person works the first 4 months of the year just to pay taxes. And because we're 4 months behind on income, that's why we go into debt. I mean, just think about it. Taxes and debt are married. If they weren't taking so much off the top, we wouldn't have to borrow so much on the bottom, but we do. Meaning, if you want the rest of that American dream, Tracy, what, you want a house?
Please.
Oh, it's only $400,000. Oh, you don't have $400,000 cash? Look, we'll give you a mortgage. We'll let you pay $1.2 million for this $400,000 house.
You sure I can afford that?
We'll put you in an affordable payment plan, so either you or Lacey can pay for it. That's why they call it the family curse. Debts get down.
I throw a monkey wrench.
Oh, by the way, y'all didn't know this. Tracy's daughter's name is Lacey. I really do know. That's somebody I know.
Yes.
But you think about it, your mortgage, your car note, if you're a student, you need some loans. If you got a credit, you need a car. The second 1/3 of most of our income goes to debt service. It's not what you borrowed, it's how long and the terms, and guess what? They set the terms. So now we 2/3 down from the cash that we went to work to get it. And that last 1/3, debt and taxes got married. They had 2 badass kids, big business and inflation. I'm trying to tell you, it's 2 sides of the same coin, meaning this is the perfect time of year to really analyze how big business works. I want you to really think about it. Right now, we're in the month of what?
October.
Now, psychologists say there is a thing called seasonal affective disorder. How many of you have heard of it?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Okay, this is what it means. The days are getting shorter and darker.
Okay.
It's a natural reaction for most people to start to seek things to calm and soothe themselves. Aha! Retail therapy. That's right.
I understand that.
Every 30 days for the rest of the year, at the last paycheck of the year, to collect that last dollar that we had, that last 1/3, you got in the end of October, what's coming up?
Halloween.
Halloween. And here's the trick. They treated themselves to that last 1/3 of our income, and they set us up right during Halloween to do it again in November, because what's coming?
My birthday.
Hey,
Denise's birthday. You got to give your last 1/3 of your income for Denise's birthday.
that's right.
Thanks.
But along with Denise's birthday, there's also Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Tech Tuesday and Brown Thursday and Tanisha's birthday. The last pay period of the last 2 paychecks of the year, the last 3 paychecks of the year, are followed by the biggest holidays. So the first 4 months went to taxes. The last 3 months get cleaned up by Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And they start the year off right in New Year's, and they keep it going every 30 days. It's going to be another holiday. And look how close the holidays are to when paychecks come.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So for most families,
Yes.
all of it, 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 just got wiped out
Mm.
by taxes, debt, and big business. And inflation, we normally call the silent income killer, because it's usually sneaking through the bushes and shooting darts at our income. Yes, things going up 4% per year.
Oh, but they're advertising it every night on the news now, so
No,
it
no.
ain't silent no more.
No, 2022, inflation said, nah, I'm a big brother too. I mean, think about just think about core things. I'm not even saying the extravagances, but if you think about core things that you need in your life: gas, milk, bread, and eggs, staples and groceries.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at what you pay for those things now, they've gone up about twice what they used to be.
Got a what?
But
Got an empty cat.
sometimes they got to empty your cash. Let me grab another co-host just to help me monitor, because I can't see once I get in here. But think about this. If the price of things went up twice as much, but the average person didn't have a way to increase their income twice as much, they falling further and further behind.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the trap. But here's the blessing. I did not get on this Zoom to talk about the trap or the problems. I got solutions. Anybody like a solution to a problem that not only, I mean, if you think about your life, can you identify that these problems hit everybody,
Yes.
Yes.
including us?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So if you could solve a problem for you, do you think it could solve it for someone else?
Absolutely.
I think it should.
That's what we've been able to do, meaning
See that.
everyone, and this is one of the
Wow.
best kept secrets in America. Every one of you have the solution to all
I don't feel like
4
listening
of these
to
roadblocks.
that right now.
Right?
I mean, I've heard it before.
It won't let me.
Go ahead. If you make me co-host, I help out.
Yeah, it won't let me mute.
I
It's
don't know
trying
why
to.
what that's doing. That's interesting.
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
not letting me do it.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Got that one for now. All right. But if you think about everybody on this line, got the solutions to all 4 challenges. You got to ask yourself the question: are you using them to the best of your ability? Meaning, does everybody on this line live somewhere?
Mhm. Yep.
And do y'all have a social security number?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Believe it or not, in the United States of America, that entitles you to own and operate a home-based business. And it's the key solution to all 4 roadblocks. What do you mean, Richard? Well, the first thing that having a business does is sets you up so that you have an option when it comes to tax advantages. Meaning, if you're paying less in taxes, you know you could probably get an increase in pay from your job and write off parts of your lifestyle as business deductions, even though they're the same bills you're going to pay.
What?
But then,
Wow.
it gets even deeper, because now what we call the crumb snatchers could actually become income earners. You can hire your children and teach them
Yes.
the difference in payroll and allowance. Like
Hmm.
allowance doesn't even make sense in our economy.
No.
No.
But now you get to teach them entrepreneurship. And by the way, when you pay your children a salary versus giving them an allowance, their income becomes tax deductible. And do you know you can pay each of your children under 19 years of age up to $1,000 a month and write that off on your taxes? Now, I know what you're saying. I was going to spend $1,000 on my kids, but could you write it off on your taxes?
No, not always.
No, not at
No.
all.
No, and this is what's key. At the same time, depending on how many people, because that's the law of compensation. The more people you help, the more you get paid. You got an unlimited income. And the way that this is structured, you can actually separate your time from your dollars. Anybody want to know how that works? Now, by the way,
Yes.
I did not. I'm not the originator of this concept. I was frustrated just like the person who invited you to this Zoom 2 years ago, but I had a conversation with Brian M. Bean. For those of you that haven't met him yet, hadn't heard his name, listen, Brian M. Bean, they used to call him the business boy wonder because he started home business at age 19. At age 19, he built a business to the point where by the time he graduated from college, he was able to retire from Bank of America at age 22.
Ooh.
And across the next 5 or 6 years, he earned $1 million. But he'll also say he's the first to let you know, the more you make, the more they take. he made and lost that same $1 million before he was 30, regained it in his 30s with the conviction that this time it's got to be more about just making money. Everybody put that in your notes. It's more about it's not just about making money. It's not how much money you make. It's how much money you keep and how much money that money makes for you instead of you. That's what cash asset cash is. Everybody with me?
Yes.
So Brian, you know, he goes all around the country calling Mentor to Millions. And with the asset that he built from home with this business, he said, this is all I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach people a simple 6-figure playbook that will correct the cash flow problem in most people's houses. Meaning we have 3 things go down and 3 things go up. Taxes, debt, and expenses have to go down no matter how much money you make. Yes or yes?
Yes.
But if now just think about this in your life. If your taxes, your debt, and your expenses all suddenly went down, would your level of stress go down?
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
It's simple math.
Tremendous.
But at the same time, if your income increased, your assets, meaning things making money other than you increase, and your credit score went up at the same time, would it be easy to perceive abundance more quickly?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what we do. That's the name of the game. And Brian is one of those people. There are a lot of people on the internet telling you how to do things they ain't do. How many of you seen somebody out there talking about I made $1 million in Bitcoin on my first day?
Yes. Seen it.
I mean, I'm not to knock their hustle. I just like, you know, I like real assets, like real estate, right? Brian bought this lake and the 20 acres of land that go around it in 2020, based on some investments he started, based on starting this asset in 2019. He took $228, turned it to $228,000. Somebody sent him a video of this land. He said, buy it. And he was thinking he'd build his dream home there. But then he said, wait a minute, now I got a 20-acre asset. What else can I do with this asset? I can invite people to fish. Then he said, wait, Atlanta's new Hollywood. People making movies and commercials. He put it out there on one of the websites and some people pulled up. They booked him for a contract with a hot tub and a TV. He said, I don't know what these people gonna do with a hot tub and a TV out by the lake. But the next week, it was on Georgia Lottery's Powerball commercial. He took that cash, turned it into an asset with the land, and then had someone else invest in his property to represent wealth. That's cash asset cash defined, and you can see it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it doesn't stop there. He's still building on the idea. And what I love is how he expands our vision, because now he's bringing in dirt so that you have an amphitheater. He speaks all over the country, all over the world. But as a speaker, I know what it's like to be able to get up and go down the hall and speak. Imagine what it'd be like to give your keynote from in your backyard, right?
Yes.
And
Awesome.
the blessing in this system is that you don't have to rely on the person that introduced you, because they're probably new themselves. Like this guy, what we're doing is changing the game, and many people haven't heard of what we do. And I know what it's like when you have to learn something from somebody that's brand new and they haven't mastered it themselves. Like Tanisha, now and Tracy, I'm in a different neighborhood, but I grew up in the South and we had a game called Whisper Down the Lane. Have y'all ever heard of it?
Yeah, we called it telephone.
Y'all call it telephone? Put in the chat what y'all called it where you're from. But the basis of the game was you go on this side and you whisper a word in one person's ear. Say on this side, you say,
Okay.
money. They whisper to the next person. They whisper to the next person. Everybody fucking it up a little bit. I'm sorry, messing it up a little bit. Till you get on this side and it's draws. How we get from money to draws? That's called
I'm
dilution.
short attention span.
Hilarious.
It's dilution. You got to plug in directly to the source. And for those of you that are interested, I'll share with you some ways that we get access directly to a team of experts in this process of first getting our cash back, then in growing our cash. And if you want to, you can even make some additional cash. Who likes the sound of that?
I love the sound of that.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
love it.
Starts at the beginning with our membership. We are all members of a private group that's invitation only. The only way you know about this Zoom is somebody invited you. They thought enough of you to say, I found something, I'm excited about it. Would you like to learn with me? Our investment for being members of this exclusive platform is $99.97 per month. What do we get for our, because I know what happens, Tanisha. As soon as I say $99.97 per month, somebody heard the word bill. Right. And I can show you there's a difference between a bill and an investment, because this $99.97 per month actually lowered my taxes, which increased my paycheck. It helped me destroy my debts, shred my bills. It raised my credit scores. It grew my assets. I mean, how many of you have $99.97 a month that brings you back more than $4,000 a month?
Nothing.
You make that deal, right?
Mm-mm.
And then the best thing about the membership is you get access to a team of experts that'll take you through the process of doing these things for you, instead of you having to become an expert in all four of these areas. Because how many of you agree? You weren't taught to do tax in school.
No.
I mean, I'm dead
No.
serious. I was looking through my grades from college. Anybody ever look back and reminisce over the stuff you learned that you had never used again? Man, my thermodynamics and robotics professors owe me some money, man. They should have just taught me taxes and credit. I just want to be clear about that.
Pythagorean.
I was taught how to write checks and how to subtract checks from in high school. So that's the very little.
At least you got that. Do you know that home economics, like this is what I'm finding more and more often, because my kids had home economics. And the check balancing lesson was a part of home economics.
Nope, not my part.
Guess what? It's not anymore. They still learn how to make oatmeal cookies and pizza.
Yes.
They ain't balancing no checkbooks.
No.
And so what that means is that home economics has shifted back home. If you didn't learn it in school, you didn't learn it in college, it's up to you to know how to do it. But here's what I tell people all the time. What you don't know hurts you every day.
Yes.
Yes.
So getting this education, getting to a place where our experts were able to help people. Now, I see some folks on the line that have gone through this financial makeover process. I'll lace my story through as I walk through how the membership works. But Ms. Gwen, Tanisha, Monique, are y'all in a position to share what the experts have done for you? And anybody else who wants to, type in the chat or make sure you're on camera, because my recording comes out better if I can see your face. Did you make it back home yet? You still in Kentucky?
Who's out of state?
Yep.
I'm back home.
You back home? Okay. I've been listening to That's What I Said. Y'all got to meet Cedric Sanders here soon. That's what I said. That's what I said. All right. All right. So ladies, just let everybody know from the standpoint of the first, by the way, if you're taking your notes, the first shift in income shifting is shifting the money back to you. Understand this. If you don't have a strategy to make sure that your money stays with you, making more won't help.
Right.
So the first thing our experts were able to do for each of us was to help us get our cash back into our house, because that's our money. Does that make sense? Everybody say it's my money.
Yes.
It's my money.
Money.
Okay. So Auntie Gwen, I see from left to right, I see Auntie Gwen up at the top, Tanisha Sanchez, and Monique, you're right here beside me. So go in that order, give me your 60 seconds or less and tell them specifically how the cash came back to the family.
Okay, I want to thank you, Mr. Richard Harden, for this wonderful opportunity sharing my testimony. Well, the experts helped me get $85 back, and I've been retired 17 years from the New York City Police Department. Then I came a 1099. My husband was the W-4. He was overpaying taxes. They even audited him. So I seen this amazing information. Guess what, everyone? He got $1,000 back in our household.
Oh no.
Mm.
We didn't ball out. We took that
no,
money,
oh,
we
no.
eliminated debt. We wrote off $20,000 in medical bills. He had a left hip replacement and a right hip replacement.
Mm.
Then we took that and we started sitting with our children. We hired our children, even our granddaughter. And we were able to get our credit scores up. My credit score went up 543. It was at the time. It's 688. The husband was 600. It's 715 today.
That's
My
good.
daughter Ashley was a 600. She's a 700. Shaniqua was a 680. Now she's almost in the 700 club. So what we're doing in our family, we are helping our children with financial education and getting this financial wealth. So in our family, we're getting the credit scores up, not our pressure up. And
There you
we
go.
want to leave and live in that legacy for our children. And now, let me tell you, Mr. Dotson was able to retire 2 years ago at Game Changer, okay?
Ooh.
So now we're taking this money, building this asset so we can have cash, and do something with our children and grandchildren.
Come on, y'all give it up for Gwen
That's-
Dotson thinking
Ooh,
generations.
Auntie
This-
Gwen,
this
that's
the
what I'm
last name
talking
thing right
about.
now. That's where we're going. All right.
Yes.
Up next, we got Miss Sanchez and followed by Monique.
All right, so let me tell y'all, before MWR, I was going to be in debt for, well, first of all, let me just tell you, I was pretty tax efficient. So I uploaded my, my stuff and they gave me back $40. Now, for some people, that $40 is not a lot, but that was my $40. So I got my $40 a month back. So then I was able to upload all of my information. I was going to be in debt for 23 years, find out that they got me to the point where I will be debt free in 2028. So I'll be debt free in 6 years, and they're saving me $227,000 in interest. Because they helped me get my debt down, it allowed my credit score to go up because I had a debt to income ratio problem. So my credit score went from a 561 to a 734. So that was 178 points that I saw in the credit score increase. And that was only in a few months. And now I have a $7,200 a year asset that I am able to use to invest in whatever I want. And I'm doing it in real estate. Woo!
Come on.
Yes.
All
right, that's
Let's make sure I'm recapping these numbers. They got you $40 back from your job, but they also started paying you $600 a month. They boosted your credit score 180 points, and they saved you $227,000 in money that would have gone to debts and the banks that's coming to your house.
Yes, sir.
Pay attention. Now we got some assets cooking. All right, Monique, and I found somebody with base. I looked around at my testimonies groups. I was like, man, I know it's a dude. There he is. And then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay, so I did exactly what them ladies did. I trusted the experts. I used everything in the system. I started with the tax savings, and I thought I was pretty much doing a good job in, getting my money back, income tax time and things like that. But they went and did the analysis of my information and was able to get me back $686 a month. That's money I was not seeing. So $686 a month is an increase in my pay that allows me to invest in, like Tanisha said, real estate and other assets. But it don't stop there. Bill Shredder got me up to $500 a year back on my bills, small bills like alarm systems that I wasn't even thinking about. So they got me $500 back a year on those items. And not only that, but they go back and negotiate your bills. So if it goes back up or something changes, they're automatically going back and negotiating a lower bill without me having to do anything. But the biggest thing for me was that debt elimination. I followed the plan, followed the process. I've only been doing it for 6 months. They told me instead of being in debt for 19 years, if I follow this process, I'll be debt-free in 9 years. In 6 months, I have already knocked off a year.
Let's go.
So now instead of 9 years, I am 7 years and 11 months. I'll be debt-free. That's 2 mortgages, 2 car notes, and a student loan.
Dang.
That's almost $500,000. And you're telling me I'll be debt free in 7 years. So that's going to give me more money to do more investments.
Come on now.
Yes, that's
I
winning.
think that's worth it. I think it's worth it. Now, Javon, ladies gave you a tough road to go in terms of matching up, but I know this story. Go ahead and give it to them quick, rapid fire.
I got you, man. So I did what everybody else did, uploaded 2 pay stubs and tax return, and I was able to get a $500 instant pay raise from my job that I was overpaying in taxes. So that's $6,000 I put back into my pocket cash flow for the year. So I didn't take that money and ball out with it. With the debt elimination plan, with me uploading all my bills and or whatnot. The experts came up with a game plan to get me out of debt in 2 years. But what I found out when I uploaded all my information is that my creditors had me in planning being in debt an extra 27 plus years. But MWR got it down to February of 2022. So I'm officially debt free for about 9 months now, you can say 9, 10 months now. And it feels good not to have to duck Peter and Paul at the same time.
Come on.
Yes.
And then with my me becoming debt free, that helped my credit score increase tremendously. I just uploaded my 3 credit reports and I simply walked away, and they increased my credit score 420 points. So they currently got me sitting at a 756. So I'm coming for the 800 club.
Come through. Man, y'all gotta understand, these makeovers are game changers. I mean, Javon, you gotta admit it feel different when the phone ring and you answer. It's like, yeah, it's me. I don't know you.
Cards and everything. Now all of a sudden I'm eligible for all these credit cards and whatnot. Back then they didn't want me though.
Now they all on you. There you go. Hey, listen, y'all. Everybody give it up for Javon Rowland, for Auntie Gwen Dawson, for Tanisha Sanchez. Thank you so much for just sharing your testimony, being transparent enough. Because you know what? It actually takes a brave, transparent person to admit that they could use some help. But here's what's honest and true. We could all use some help. Like that's just an honest to God fact. The way that most of us stay oppressed is they have a thing called quiet suffering. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything going wrong. People need some help. They're afraid to ask, embarrassed that they don't know. Listen, it's designed for us not to know and to stay separated. But if we come together, do some things together, man, we can change it all. And with these experts, watch what happens. By the way, if you're thinking, I don't know, how did they do all of that? How did they get that expertise? They did some uploads. Everybody say uploads.
Uploads.
Can everybody upload to the internet? Let me double check. Everybody on this line, can you upload to the internet or hire a young person to do it for you? That's my new motto. If it take you more than 10 minutes, go find somebody younger than you and tell them you want this to go up there. They'll get it up there. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's simple uploads, meaning with our tax process, they help you with saving money on your taxes 4 different ways. And 3 of these I have used. I had some good news that came the other day. I ain't even fit into a testimony yet, Auntie Gwen, but they started with my instant pay raise, meaning instant pay raise. They got me, and when they did the adjustment, I sent in my my pay stubs and my last year's tax returns, new W-4. That's a document that tells the IRS how much to take out of your check. Do you know that most people have it filled out wrong? And the IRS likes it that way because they get free use of our money for a year if we don't make the adjustment. With that adjustment, I got back $636 on my next paycheck, $1,272 per month that I had been overpaying. And then with the Hurdler app, it's a part of our membership, one of the more expensive apps you'll find on the App Store. We're able to document so that we have the accurate records that we need to document the profit and loss in our business. And then with this tax debt relief, would you imagine I got a note from the IRS that said they reduced my taxes by $8,000? I don't even know what category to put that in, but I know I want my money back.
Yes, that's winning.
Then they add this feature. This is new to the membership, just added this year. But now if you're using the application, using the upload portals, they'll file your taxes for you, including your Schedule C. Anybody that pays to get their taxes filed knows it's a couple of $100 every time you add another schedule.
Yes.
But they'll do it as a part of the membership. But here's the second thing. Step 2. Everybody say step 2.
Step 2.
Step 2. If you ever want to create wealth, you got to get out of debt. Our debts are someone else's passive income. You understand this, yes?
Mhm.
With our debt elimination system, they said, just put in all the information about the bills that you're paying so you get an accurate picture of where you are. And they say to Malcolm X said, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.
Yes.
It was my first time realizing in one place how much money we had borrowed for our girls' 4 years of school. But according to our creditors plan, we're going to still be paying for that 4 years till we're 74 years old.
Uh,
Mm.
With the debt elimination plan, they gave us a strategy to pay off all the bills with assuming the same money plus our pay raise. That's all we added to it.
Mhm.
Those same bills in 6 years save us $257,000 in interest payments and be debt free in 6.
Wow,
Mm.
amazing.
Listen, I mean, I want you to understand how things start to flow when money comes back to you. First, we took the money we got back from taxes, added it to what we were paying for our debts. That knocked out $52,000 in credit card debts and let us pay off one of my rental properties. We had a mortgage that would go for another 12 years, but we were able to pay it off in 2020 so that it's producing more cash than it ever has. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then it ain't stopped. They said, well, you got some bills that you can never pay off. Yes. Hey, I said, yeah. They said, well, send them to us. So I sent them my gas bill, my cable bundle, my phone bill, my security system, and my pest control. For those bills, they saved me $1,571 so far this year. $1,571. You do the math, just this. The savings I get from this exceeds the cost of my membership. And then the last part, again, some things you just don't know until you know. I thought my credit score was pretty good, Monique. I mean, I was sitting at 720, 750, depending on which bureau, but I did it because it was in the membership and I'm precise like that. I just want to know what'll happen. They got my credit score up to an 810 and then an 834. And that's what you call actual buying.
Wow, amazing.
Meaning now when I went to negotiate this mortgage and the other one, I was shopping rates instead of them shopping my credit. Does that make sense? Oh, by the way, credit restoration is something we added on because we understand that credit impacts how much you pay for money. But unlike a lot of these organizations you see out here or the people on the side of the road with a crayon didn't have a pen to write up, y'all, wait, come on.
Lexington Law.
Y'all saying you ain't seen somebody out there with a sign they ain't even in getting a whole marker.
Get off.
Talk about they're gonna fix your credit on the exit ramp.
Yeah, off the highway.
All right. We just added it to the membership to make sure that we had a comprehensive picture of everything that's taking cash out of our houses and put it back. And the results have been amazing, meaning you just heard from a few people, but across our entire organization, they just shared these stats with us at our national event. Average person, $350 on the instant pay raise, $400 in deductions. We saved over $250 million for members of our private group on their taxes. Does that make sense?
It
You know,
does.
people lower their bills. We just added bill negotiation to the membership at the beginning of last year, 2021. But in that short period of time, we've already negotiated $3.5 million in bill savings. And now, because of the work that we do with people on credit, we're going to be able to negotiate credit card bills down.
Oh, snap.
Come on.
Yeah.
Now. And then with debt elimination, we saved the average member $64,000 on their debts and imagine this, $1.8 billion instead of going to the mortgage companies and the credit cards is coming back into our members' home. We're giving people their cash back. And then we're raising the score all together. This membership, if you look across, and this is the aggregate of everybody, I did it. Y'all,
We know
somebody
that.
make a mark on the thing. Aggregate. I said aggregate. What does that mean? If you take a look at the group of people that use the membership to its fullest, we average about $2,000 per month in cash back into our homes so that now we have the cash to create new assets. Does that make sense?
It does.
So step one, get your cash back. Everybody say it, get your cash back.
Get your cash
Your
back.
cash back. I mean, you did the work, it's your money. And what my mentor says, he said all the time, your income is making somebody wealthy.
Rich. Yes.
The question is who? And if the banks and the IRS get more money from your work than you do, you can already guess who that is. But the second step is we got to grow our money. Everybody say passport.
Passport.
You know what I like about having a passport, Monique? I mean, my passport in real life. It lets me go places other people can't go.
Yeah.
It is a passive income portfolio. We got to get to a place where we have vehicles that grow our money. And two of the most powerful things that I've added to my portfolio is new assets because of this business are my land banking and becoming my own bank with a private reserve account. And I got to admit, I'm not supposed to play favorites, but I got a thing that's my favorite thing because it helped me fix my formula. Does anybody recognize that some of the formulas that we are living by aren't wrong? They're just outdated.
True.
Yes.
Meaning I know good and well my grandmama and Auntie Nell love me. I'm the oldest grandson. I was the only grandson for like 5 years. So so I spent a lot of time with them. But what they said was, now, Ricky, when you get that good job, you're supposed to put some money in your checking account, your savings account, and some money in your 401k. And that was good advice. But those were my parents. It's a whole different generation. Because what was the expectation? Well, when my whole life, they were retired. They had pensions. Meaning the company they worked for, they worked for Board of Education. Board of Education was committed to taking care of them, paying them a large percentage of their salary for the rest of their lives. Pension, that's the first thing. Second, they had Social Security. And when I say Social Security, I mean the secure Social Security. You ever heard of an unsecured loan?
Yes.
That's what Social Security is right now. It's not enough money people putting in for the money that they need to take out. It's insecure.
Yes.
Don't count on the government to take care of you in your golden years. And then the third thing, the third leg of their stool was their savings. In our case, 2 legs have been taken out. If you got a stool with 1 leg, it's wobbly as hell. You got to stabilize. Does that make sense?
It does.
And you got to think the bank relationship has changed a lot in 20 years. Meaning you remember there was a time when you go to the bank and they know you.
Yep.
They know you by name. Like it was a thing.
Yep.
And the interest rate that you got on your money in the savings account was like 3%. Yes.
Yep.
That's from a whole nother century.
It is.
Meaning every time, this is how I feel about it, Cedric. Every time banks bought one another, they paid us less. So I started out at Georgia Federal with 3%. First Union bought them, knocked it down to 1%. By the time First Union got bought by Wachovia, it was less than 1%. By the time that other bank that rhymes with Bell's Cargo, I ain't gonna say their name because they got the nerve to pay me 0.1% on my money. Now it's not a growth strategy. I just want y'all to understand. If inflation averages 4%, this year is 5.5 to 6%. But your money's growing at 0.1%, you're falling behind, even on the money you're saving. Like today's prices, today's dollars can't afford tomorrow's prices.
No.
All right.
Because in that scenario, that 0.1%, if you really do the math, it doesn't make sense to you.
It doesn't.
Like, I mean, take this amount, take $10,000, right? $10,000, you park it in the bank for a year, say, grow this for me. I'm not going to touch it. Ain't nothing to it. $10,000 from the beginning of the year to the end, you come back and collect your total earnings. You know what they're going to give you?
$1.
$10,001. You got
$1.
$1 in interest. And it's taxable.
And that dollar is taxed.
That dollar's taxable.
Yes.
We just need a new strategy. So and here's the thing, with being your own bank, the private reserve account, the day that I understood what I had, I was so excited. I almost turned off my 401k. It was like, I know that my employer is matching, but they're not doing this. What are they doing? Well, when I put money in my private reserve account, it goes up by market value. When the market went down, like it did several times over the last 3 years, because I only had this for 3 years, I ain't lose any money. Now my 401k was doing this. Oh, you can't see that hand. Every time bad news came on, it was like I didn't invest last month. So I didn't lose any money. But also we've averaged, they say 8 to 18% is what is averaged over 20 years in returns. Now, my three, I've had a 12% year, a 14% year, and a 17% year.
Wow.
Means my worst year, that same 10,000 made 1,200 instead of one.
Dang.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
That's how you grow money. But
Wow.
then the kicker, different in behavior. And this is something again, once you get tools, you start learning how to use them. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if anybody ever got a Swiss Army knife, but only was using one part, but then you start figuring out other stuff. It's a wine screw? With the private reserve account, as a banker, you can do what banks do. The process where banks take our money in and loan it is called arbitrage. They do it every day. That's their business. That's how they got the biggest building in the world. They loan our money at 6, 8, 12, 30%. They pay us 0.1. They build the biggest building on the difference. Does that make sense? With our private reserve account, I can actually borrow from my account. It's approaching 6 figures now. Isn't that amazing? Just time and growth, right? Take 25,000 out to invest in my next rental asset. It still grows double digits like all the money's there, but now my money's doing two things at one time. There you go. Again, first thing we got to do is get our cash back. Second, we got to get our cash to where that cash is making cash. And then doing things like investing in land banking. I pointed that way. That's what my land banking certificate is over there, about a world championship belt. Also from AWR Financial, right? But at the land banking certificate, I bought a plot of land in Antelope Valley, California. It's right out there. The white guy right there, that's Warren Buffett. His new energy efficient $1 billion bus company is right across the street. It's like the next lot over. And the Olympics are coming to LA in 2028. And that's really all they had to tell me, because I live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I remember how Atlanta changed from 1986 to 1996 as farmers got to be millionaires from just having land that was in the right place.
Yeah.
That makes sense? And this property, in a short period of time, again, my most headache-free real estate investment by a mile. No toilets, no tenants.
I like that.
Increased in value 43% in a year. So so think about this. I took the asset I had. What's the asset I had?
Land.
The asset I had at the beginning was I live here
Cash.
and I had a social security number,
Yes.
right? I took that asset and turned it into a home-based business. It gave me access to this membership. This membership brought me back close to $6,000 per month of my own cash that was going to the IRS, that was going to the credit card companies, that was going to the mortgage companies. Now I've got my cash that I was able to invest in further assets. So I put some of the money that I was making, because they do pay me for telling people what happened to me. That's the best lesson. Like when something good happens to you, you're going to tell somebody anyway, right?
Right.
Wouldn't it be better if somebody paid you for it?
That's right.
Absolutely.
So I took some of the money they got me back, some of the money that they were paying me, and I used that to fund my private reserve account. I used that to pay off the rental property and buy the land bank. And that process of cash getting more cash, because they say cash gets more cash, but do you know what broke gets?
Nothing.
Broker.
Less than
Broker. But here's the idea: we're not just talking about getting the money in place so that we can leave a legacy. We want to live the legacy. And it's folks just like my business partner. Like when Dana Turnquist and I first saw this information, we were both real estate investors. And he said, he funded his private reserve account, also got his land banking certificate. And check this out: he took $28,000 out of his private reserve account to fund the purchase of this 14-unit Airbnb. I was like, why are you getting into Airbnb? He said, I got 14 doors and nurses travel to Connecticut every month and pay corporate rates. Money machine. So now he took this asset, used it to buy to create some more cash. And it's just so many different things you can do. And you got to start thinking bigger in terms of what can we buy that makes money instead of us just giving away the money for it. Richard Gere, by the way, if he doesn't tell you, you wouldn't imagine that Richard Greer's in his 70s, right?
Dang.
Wow.
Nope.
Richard Greer had his whole group. They called themselves Seniors on the Move, but as a retiree, he added $1,200 a month to his income. He has this Super Beetle that he rents out the movies. When you ever see the old school, now you're gonna start looking. Anytime you see a old school Beetle in a movie, see if it's red. It's like Richard over here getting paid again. And then Don was like, hell, I'm gonna buy me a boat. Don got $300 in instant pay raise, $150 in residual. But now every time somebody takes that boat out that he bought with his additional cash, he makes $300 to $600 per outing with the boat. Kim, I mean, just amazing story. Me and Kim gonna have a dance battle at the next Game Change. It's gonna be me and Chuck against Kim and her sister. We having the dance battle for who best dancers in MWR. But imagine this. She had a pay cut from her job, because there's a difference between earned income and owned income. You know what I mean? They cut her pay, relocated her. That cost her $18,000, but she more than made up for it with her $2,400 a month from this business asset she created. She purchased a new home, got a credit score into the 800s. And it, and here's the thing. That's just talking about what you can do with cash when you get it. But if you add this business component, by the way, if you want to be in the business broker side of what we do, is a $50 additional access fee per month to get the business center. So the membership's $99, you add $50 to it, $149.97 a month, gives you the option to make more money. And when we talk about making more money, is really no limits on how much money you can make. And I was on one Zoom the other day, Monique, and somebody was like, aha, I knew it was a gotcha. I was like, what's the gotcha?
The cost.
What? The cost, 150? Man, come on.
Now if you're getting that in residual.
Be real with me.
Wow.
No. I'm just saying,
Absolutely.
unless you stay in your house tomorrow, if you go out on Friday evening, you telling me you're not gonna, you're not gonna mess up $150. Y'all know, if you said the word in your head, you know they look.
Mad, I said the word in my head.
So that's the thing. The gotcha is you can afford it. And if you think about the other things that you spent that kind of money on, do they do this for you? Meaning when you're first level executive in this business, our basic level, and congratulations, William. William's a one-star executive director.
You're
But
welcome.
if I'm looking at this report correctly, his new partner that he sponsored last week is now also a one-star executive director making $5 a day. Congratulations, William. Congratulations, Darrell. Right?
How long have you been
Thank
in-
you, Mr. Harden. Listen,
Oh,
we
how
just
long
Darrell
have
got
you
got
the
been in,
grind.
William?
So
That's it.
Darrell got started in business last Thursday.
Yes.
His first two partners signed up after his grand opening on Monday, and his third signed up today.
That's
It
what I'm
doesn't take
talking about.
time. It's just how fast you want to do your exposures. Because Darrell was like,
Right.
Darrell said to me, I'm off work on Sunday and Monday. Let's have my grand opening on Monday at 5.
Get
I said,
it poppin'.
check this out now. I said, do you need me to help with confirmation? He said, no, I got that. I said, well, how many people you think got coming? I got about 20 people. I got on the Zoom. It was about 20 people.
Yeah. Actually, 30. But
Talking
yeah.
about, shoot.
That's awesome.
So it doesn't take a long time. It's just how fast do you want to expose people to the information? Does that make sense? And that's our
Yeah.
simple business model. We invite people to Zoom and let God sort them out. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
And because I want you to do this. Look at the person that invited you to this Zoom, if they're even on the Zoom. By the way, if they're not on the Zoom, I want you to look at your cell phone like,
Like, where they at?
what is that person doing right now? Nothing. Listening, learning, and understanding how to put a formula to work in real terms in their time. Does that make sense? Can you do that? Like, they already did the hardest part. You're here. And everything that happens after here, that's not on them. That's on you.
Right.
That makes sense? But so think about it. With, all William has to do is help that next group of people get to where they're at $5 a day. Now, by the way, people look at it and say $5 a day is not a lot of money.
It adds up.
$5 residual a day is more residual pay than 99% of America makes. What do you mean? Why are you making a difference in residual pay? Because of how it comes. See, wealthy people earn money without having to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So $5 a day, whether he's on this Zoom or not, starts to build into something significant. And you know, here's the thing. So, matter of fact, let me pause. There's some people on here making money. Instead of me telling you about it, show them what y'all, anybody in a position to show what you got paid on your daily pay, how you know it came in
Let's
today.
see what we got.
Damn.
All right, let's see Tanisha Sanchez. There we go. Now that's
Okay.
$20
$20 a day.
every day on
Every
Sunday,
day.
huh?
On Sunday,
On your birthday,
on my birthday.
turn up.
Every
That's
day.
Hey, y'all go ahead and do
$7,200
your thing.
asset. Let's see what you got, Monique. I see you. Hang on, let me get the
Jinx
spot.
on Tanisha.
All right, 20. Anybody ever had them people in your life that every time you ask them, they were like, give me $20.
Mhm.
Give me
Let
$20.
me
Yup.
just put this up here.
Come on,
No,
William.
it's
Come on,
important.
William. Come
All
on,
right,
William.
so I got, this is, oh, I lost
Come
it.
on, William.
Oh, one
Show
second.
that.
Oh, there it is. Let's bring it back. That's
$5 a day.
$5 a day,
$5 a day.
every day.
Bam. Look at
Bam.
that.
And here's the awesome thing about William, Darrell, that whole group of people. William, I didn't know William in July.
Yes.
William got started in July, Profit Party. Javon Rowland actually went to the house and went through a piece of paper with him, his cousin and his uncle. They all got started in business. And so Uncle Thomas and William both got the $5 a day that first 30 days. And our company does something special when you do that. They pay you extra.
Mhm.
Meaning in addition to the $5 a day, they also got what they call a $150 momentum bonus because they did it fast, because success loves speed. So that means in less than 30 days on their $150 investment, they made $300 in bonuses and $5 a day. So they got a self-funding profitable business with a 200% ROI.
Mm.
Come on.
Unheard of.
That's how you start to build a legacy. You got to teach people how to be profitable. By the way, if somebody invites you to do anything, they can't show you how to self-fund your business, run from them. They don't know what they're doing. But think about it. From this till you go from $5 a day, $20 a day, $40 a day, $80. Right now I'm at $80 a day. I'm on the edge of going from $80 to $140 a day. Now, I'm not saying that you can quit your job on this income, but how many of you would walk with a little bit more of an attitude if you're making an extra $4,200 a month part-time?
I sure would.
Yeah,
Hey.
no doubt.
But then there's that
Absolutely.
next tier where once you believe in a thing and you teach people how to do that thing, the blessing in this is there's no limits to the income. My brother was blessed to be the first person to hit this regional director position when they added to the comp plan. $200 a day, that's $6,000 a month. He still works a job full time, but with way less stress. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
And then his sponsor, Brian Bean, was the first $1,000 a day earner in this comp plan. They added this whole tier, so Brian had something to shoot for. Then it goes up to $8,500 a day. Now that's $3 million a year. It'll put you in the top 5% of income earners. But you know what's more powerful than this?
What?
Most people in this income tier aren't earning their income residually.
Residually.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, think about it. Each of the owners of an NFL franchise, categorically, they're billionaires.
Mhm.
They pay millionaires to be on the field playing a game for them, and millions of people around the world are entertained.
Ooh.
If you take one bad hit, you go from making $1 million a year to you at the Kroger selling beer. I'm just trying to tell you this how this thing go. All right. So last but not least, here's what we really after. It's just identifying. Once you got your cash under control, meaning all the cash that you're making is coming to you, you're making additional cash. Dream again. Put in the chat. Help me with this so we know, kind of who we're rolling with, what we're going to actually start building this community. What asset, what's the thing that you used to dream that you would have or do or buy or build that you stopped giving yourself permission to have? Put that in. I just want to see how big we dreaming on here. Like, what asset could we help you build? Because if you think about the assets that some of our other partners have built as we made this thing real, you got Quanta Sims. She started investing in gold. And I'm talking about gold as a commodity, not gold chains, right? She's able to get to the place where she's making $140 a day, get her credit up, get her cash right. But then she likes gold making money for her. Me and Chuck, we still playing Monopoly right now to this day. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel, right? Derek, this is one of those things that'll put you on the next level in terms of thought process. He actually retired as a sergeant major from the military, right? About 20 acres. He got heads of cattle. And it's really cool watching Derek and his son, Derek Ray and Derek Ray 2.0, 734 to 834 in credit. And what I didn't understand was how much money there is in cattle. Like, you listen to the stock report different. Like, now you understand when they talking about pork bellies and
Yes.
cattle, orange pulp. Hey,
Yeah.
somebody has those assets and they're worth cash. And Charles and Judith, again, one of those victory stories, furloughed from his job as a military contractor at the beginning of COVID. By the time they brought him back, he was making so much money doing this, he just turned his computer in. Right? They paid off the house, and then he bought this land right here in Hinesville. Y'all know where Hinesville, Georgia is?
I certainly do.
Yeah, well, most people don't. Charles call it Hines Vegas, and they're building a 6,000 square foot house. And you know, with all the cool success stories that we have, well, let me come back and check the chat. Let's see what y'all said. Real estate, land. Cedric said real estate, gold, and land. Okay. Gwen wants to do Airbnbs, a restaurant. Okay, man, we got some dreamers on here. Because that's the thing. They say that most people die at the age of 25. And they spend the next 40 years waiting to get buried because they've given up on their dreams. I just love and embrace that y'all are still out here dreaming, and more important than dreaming, waking up and taking action. And here's a final action. Obviously, I've had this conversation several times. I'm gonna have it several more times. But at the end of this conversation, someone usually has 1 or 2 reactions. They're number 2, where they just want the membership. I want access to this set of experts. I want to see what they can do to get me my cash back. And you are perfectly within your rights. Get your cash back. You work for it. You deserve it. $99 a month, get your access. There's no setup fees, no contracts. And oh, by the way, it's a money back guarantee. And if you refer 3 people to the membership, your membership is free. I'll be like, and then on the other hand, there's a number 1 that understands 2 things differently. Not only do they want access to the experts, they also want the opportunity to make money every time they help someone else get money back into their homes. They want all the tax breaks and all the benefits, and understand that they were going to mess up $150 somewhere this week anyway. And when you do, I want you to look at that bill, that check you signing, and ask yourself, how much money is this $150 bringing back to my house? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, Darrell, we were just bragging about you. Hey, everybody, welcome and congratulate. This is our new 1-star executive director, Darrell Harris, Nashville in the building.
All right, sir. Congratulations, Rel. Oh, Rel, let's do this.
And so with that, I'm done. I did not realize I had gone this far over time, but here's what you do. Text a person that invited you, let them know I'm a number 1, I'm a number 2. They'll send you the instructions and the game plan for how to get from where you are to where you want to be financially. And then the second thing, I have a unique opportunity because I teach on Wednesday to know that if you missed anything or want to see the same presentation, but better in 30
How can it
minutes,
get better?
I'm trying to tell you, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, Brian Ian Bean, the man they call the mentor to millions, is doing a 30-minute overview. 30 to 45 minutes. If Brian goes longer than 40 minutes, he's annoyed.
He's quick.
But 30 minutes, he'll share his story, the process, and then he'll come back around at 9:30 Eastern to train step for step and word for word how to get to where he's gotten. And he's one of those people that teaches what he's doing, not what he's done. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand the equation? If somebody making $30,000 a month, you think they can teach you how to make something? Like, if you got a half wrong, anybody ever got a 50 on the test?
Yep.
That's an F, ain't it? That's an all-day F with a teeth indentation right there. But $15,000 a month would it help?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So make sure, don't meet me there, beat me there. 8:30 presentation and overview, 9:30. And I encourage you, bring somebody back to see it with you, because over the next 30 days, we're going to have an event. Ooh, it's almost 30 days from now. November 11th through the 13th in Atlanta is Game Changer ATL. And when I talk to you about number one, making money, having precise training, knowing exactly what to do and how to apply your tactics situationally, baddest trainer on the planet. But number two, having a good time. You would not imagine how competitive this crazy group of people are when it comes to taboo, tug of war, spades, and trash talking.
Jeez.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that those things happen. I'm just saying we're gonna be in Atlanta. It's gonna be training.
It's gonna be live.
11 through the 13th. Make sure that you make your way there. Make sure that you're recognized there, because all the people that got promoted so far and the people that get promoted between now and then, we got to get those submissions in so that we can recognize you for changing the game. All right. I'm gonna go eat. I got a few minutes before my interval. What do they call it?
Intermittent
Fasting period is over.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Good night,
Harden.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thank
right,
you.
thank you,
Good
Mr. Harden.
night. Fantastic
Good
job.
night, everyone.
All right, Rel.